Sometimes in the stock market, you get into a very strange, interesting market. We have a market that is very confused on where it wants to take these flapjacks at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. NASDAQ is down year to date. Now, this is very interesting because if you look at something like silver, silver's up almost 24% year to date. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not even halfway through the first month of the year, and silver has rocketed 24%. I mean, it's insane, absolutely insane, while the NASDAQ's actually gone down, right? Which makes me think, I have a friend who's keeping an eye, let's just put it that way, on a few of my big silver bars. I got a bunch of those silver bars somewhere in storage, some are not, and I have a friend that's keeping them, and I said, hey, you keeping that silver safe, right? He said, sorry, wrong number, which means I'm pretty much done ski, folks. TLT, look at this. TLT is actually up year to date, and it's beating the Qs. Now, this is interesting because I have another friend, and this friend, he predicts that TLT, this is a big prediction he made going into this year, he's predicting that TLT is going to do better than the Qs in 2026, which is a pretty big prediction to make out there, right? This individual is very good at short-term calls, I'll tell you that. He literally took this individual, we ended up becoming friends over the years, but to give you some reference on this, he joined my private stock group years and years ago. And he went from a situation where he had a portfolio of a few $100,000 to he ended up taking it to several million in 2020. He documented all in the private group. If you were in the private group back in those days, you remember who this individual is. Unbelievable. One of the most insane things I ever seen in the market, where somebody took their portfolio in a matter of like 2 months from a few $100,000 to millions of dollars. It was like life-changing money for him. Good for that. And yeah, this is his big prediction. TLT is actually going to outperform the Qs in 2026. So I'm going to keep track of it. We'll see if he's right or wrong in regards to that. Crude oil is absolutely rocketing so far this year, up over 7%. There's all types of geopolitical situations going on out there. It's ridiculous. It's like a full-time job just keeping up with all that. But this is no bueno. No bueno. GSG is honestly skyrocketing so far this year. It's already up almost 5.5%. GSG's commodity basket, the index. So the way to look at this is if GSG keeps going up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have inflation come back. And that's going to hurt the consumer later on this year. That would hurt the market later on this year if GSG keeps rolling, because that would put into doubt any more rate cuts. It could even put rate hikes on the table. We'll see. It's no like nail in the coffin as of right now, but it's something to keep an eye on. You don't want to see GSG rolling the way it's rolling. I mean, once again, we're not even halfway through the first month of the year. To already see GSG up 5+%, no bueno. So it's something to keep an eye on. Everybody should keep an eye on GSG, okay? Then you have a stock like Meta. This stock was so weak in the back half of last year, and it's still so weak. Look at almost down 7% year to date. What is going on here, right? Why is this happening? Is Meta in trouble? Do we have big problems here? I'm getting a lot of questions about this stock. We're going to talk about it, right? Other big techs out there, look at a day like today. Intuit's down over 7%. Shopify getting chopified, down over 6% here today. Oracle, down over 5%. Avago, Broadcom down about 5% here today. You got AMD bucking the trend. Look at AMD going up even with all these other stocks down, which we're flirting with. Almost a double up on AMD. Look at that, 99.4%, now up $283,000 in the public count. Oh, AMD's a beautiful stock. I absolutely love that stock. I wonder if that was one of the stocks I bought here today, right? Speaking about buying stocks, I've been itching to buy some dang stocks because I was on vacation. You guys know that, right? And I've been itching to buy some stocks, and finally I gave in, and I bought a lot of stocks today, as in 8 stocks. You almost never see me buy 8 stocks in a day. It's almost like a flipping flapjack and portfolio I bought today. It's insane, right? I did that today, ladies and gentlemen, okay? In today's video, we're going to speak about 3 core subjects, okay? One is Meta stock. What is going on here? It's a huge position for me in the public count. I'm getting a lot of questions about Meta. Is it a great opportunity? Is the stock in trouble? Are we going to keep going down? We're going to see a 500 soon, right? We'll talk about Meta, what's going on there, where things are headed, okay? 2, margin. New margin data just got released here very recently. I want to go over that, talk about that, and how that's going to impact the market moving forward, and give a few perspectives on that, maybe drop a couple gems, okay? Third subject we'll get into today is I bought 8 stocks today. That's insane. That almost never happens. Like, you might see me buy 1, 2, 3 stocks in a day. 8 stocks? Like, come on, man. But there's a lot of opportunities out there. We'll speak about that. I'll show you the stocks and we'll discuss that and why I did it, okay? One thing only I need from you guys, if you could please just smash that like button on this video. If you haven't already done so, please do so. That's all I need from you. That's your one payment for this whole video, okay? It's going to be like a 30-40 minute video, and all I need is one little smash of that like button. Please do that for me. Additionally, if you want to be subscribed to the channel, you can certainly subscribe. Higher probability you'll see my content in the future if you're subscribed. It is free to do so. And additionally, if you want me to talk about any certain stock, leave it in the comment section of this video. Hey Jeremy, can you talk about this stock, that stock, whatever. Whether it's a stock I've talked about past on the channel, whether it's one I personally own, whether it's one you've never heard me talk about, or maybe I just haven't talked about in a while, leave it in the comment section. Let me know. I'm all ears. One of the reasons we're talking about Metastock in this video is I got a lot of comments in the past couple videos of wanting me to talk about Metastock. So here we're going to talk about it, right? So you want me to talk about stock, leave it in the comment section, and we'll see if I can talk about that maybe over the next week or so, okay? Additionally, the pinned comment down there today will be if you're looking to apply, join my private stock group, get access to all my course curriculums, private Discord chat, 1000xstocks.com, all that good stuff, okay? Exclusive weekly videos, pinned comment down there, fill out that application. We'll see if we can get you in there. That is open right now to new members. It was closed for a long time, but it is open for new members as of right now. We'll see how long we actually keep it open for, but it is open right now, okay? Join us in there with the 6, 7, and 8-figure members. Alrighty, so Meta. Listen, this is a great stock. No debate, right? Great stock. It has made me $800,000 in the public account. That does not account for other portfolios I have it in. That does not account for profits I've taken in the past in the stock. $800,000, up 434%. It's a banger. It's a great stock. But with that being said, we got to also admit the stock is incredibly weak lately. Like, incredibly weak. How weak are we talking in regards to Meta? Look at this look at this bunch of shares here, by the way. $339,000 of profits I have there, and I only put $60,000 in. That's insane, right? So how weak are we talking here? This is a 1-month chart of the S&P 500 versus Meta stock. S&P 500 is up over 1%. Meta stock is down over 4%. Pull up a 3-month. S&P 500 up 4.6%. Meta stock down over 13%. Uh-oh. We're talking Meta's very weak, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to stock price. S&P 500's up over 10% in the past 6 months. Meta stock down over 15%. So we're talking about the divergence getting even bigger on a 6-month basis. Like, that's insane underperformance by Meta stock. It's just, I mean, the easiest way to say it is Meta stock has sucked the past 6 months, right? And then we look at a 1 year, it's still ugly. Maybe not as ugly as the past 6 months, but it's still ugly on a 1 year. S&P 500 up over 18% and Meta up a whopping 3% in the past year? What is going on, right? Look at Meta. This is Meta. Meta's in the doghouse, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the doghouse. People don't want to own it. They've been selling it. Where are the big buyers for Meta stock? They're just non-existent. They're non-existent out there at the moment, right? Take a little higher view. Let's go up in the helicopter for a minute. Let's look over the city, okay? On a 5-year basis, Meta stock's up 144%, while the S&P 500's up 83%. Much better, right? Much better. Let's go up even higher. Let's go take an airplane up there, okay? We're going to fly around 35,000 feet. Since IPO, Meta stock's up almost 2,000%, 1,979%, while the S&P 500's up 428%. A massive outperformance of Meta stock. If we look at since that Q4 2022 bottom, right, when the NASDAQ bottomed, and all those big tech stocks like Meta and all the others bottom, Meta's up 560% since then. The S&P 500's up 78%, okay? And so with a stock like Meta, you gotta differentiate between what's going on short term, which, you know, anything a year and less is short term in regards to stock, and what's going on long term with the business model. And you want to look at the business model? We can look at the business model, but just understand, Meta factually is a great long-term stock. It has also factually been a horrible stock the past 6 months and the past year. There's just no debating that, right? There's no debating that. So that's just facts. But what is actually going on with the business model? Well, this is where Meta's revenue has trended. And we're right here. We're looking at 1000xstocks.com. This is where analysts expect Meta's revenues to trend. If we look at the operating cash flow on a trailing 12-month basis, it's never been better. Looking amazing. Look at the operating income of Meta and how that's been climbing. Unbelievable. Look at shareholder equity of Meta and where that's been trending. Look at the shares outstanding. They've been bringing that down. Like, these are all the things you want to see. You want to see revenue up and to the right. You want to see operating cash flow up and to the right. You want to see operating income up and to the right. These are just base business fundamentals of what you want to see. You want to see shares outstanding going down. You want to see shareholder equity going up, right? But let's make this even bigger. Let me show you something even more meaningful. Listen, if we look at the revenue growth Meta's been reporting recently, we're talking it's over 20%. Now, that's special. And the reason that's so special is we're talking about a company here with Meta. This is $1 trillion plus market cap. So the fact that they're able to grow revenue at a 20% plus clip is pretty shocking. No one else in big tech outside of NVIDIA has been growing revenue 20% plus clip. Not Apple, not Google, not Microsoft, not Amazon, right? They're the ones to do it. They're the ones to do it. Outside of NVIDIA, and obviously there's a huge chip cycle going on, so NVIDIA's revenues are going crazy and will continue to, and then AMD's revenues are just going to start going absolutely insane. But you look at big tech, like Meta's the one. It's the one with the big growth. So if you want big growth and you want exposure to big tech, you gotta look at Meta first and foremost, right? And with Meta, you could look at that and say that's more sustainable growth, because obviously there's a massive chip cycle going on right now, right? And will for the next at least 2 to 4 years, right? But you could say maybe that's not as sustainable. You can make an argument for that, right? With a company like Meta, like it's not like they have some super cycle going on right now for their business model where it's like everybody needs this like certain chip that Meta has, right? Like they do need NVIDIA's chips and AMD chips and like Micron for memory, right? MU stock. Like Meta could be seen as much more sustainable in regards to this growth. And so to be growing at a 20% plus clip, the last quarter, if I recall, I believe they grew revenue 25% last quarter. I think on a constant currency basis, it might have been 26%. It's insane. Absolutely insane, right? So that matters significantly. If you even look at next year's expected revenue growth from analysts, 18%, keep in mind Meta comes in and beats analyst estimates regularly. So if analysts are expecting, 17.7% revenue growth next year, don't be surprised if Meta comes in at 19%, 20%, 21% and beats that number, okay? Gross margins 80% plus, net margins 30% plus. That's like the holy grail for a business model. If you can have your gross margins be 80% plus and net margins 30% plus, like you're running a freakish business essentially, okay? 2-year stack expected earnings per share growth is something very helpful. We have on advanced metrics for 1000x. Nearly 50%. Where are you getting that sort of growth in big tech land? Like, that's insane. What? 2-year stack expected revenue growth, 40+%? These numbers are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Meta has, right? Now, additionally, this matters significantly. Zuckerberg is 41 years old now. He just entered his business prime. Think about what this man has built over the past 20 years, right? A company from nothing into this gigantic company that even the governments fear, right? Because it's so powerful. They have so many users on their platform. It's unreal, right? The man just entered his business prime. Your business prime is very different than being an athlete, right? Being an athlete, your prime is like, let's call it 19 to 29 years old. In business, it's very different. Your business prime is 40 to 65 years old, right? 40 to 65, and he just entered that bracket. So if this man wants to run this next 10, 20, 25 years, he's got it, right? He's absolutely got it. By the way, my camera situation's all messed up. I'm staying at, a resort right now. So, it's like, not the best situation, but I hope you guys understand, okay? Now, the concern is the spend that's going on with Meta, right? The CapEx 2024, 40 billion roughly, just under 40 billion. 2025, 70 billion plus. 26 expected to be over 100 billion. So that's the concern with Meta is while they're spending so much, Zuckerberg's spending's out of control again, and it's a big concern, it's a big worry out there, but who are we to doubt Zuck, right? I mean, look what the man has built. A company from nothing into $1 trillion plus company in, 20 years? It's insane. Since this company went public, the stock's up almost 2,000%. He's got a company so powerful that governments fear it, right? And always looking in because they're like, it's so powerful, right? I mean, it's insane. And so, you can doubt Zuck here, you can doubt Zuck there, but I'm just like, do what you want. But I'm like, it's a man you don't want to doubt too much. Let's just put it that way. Like, he comes through. He always comes through. Now, additionally here, Meta has their Threads product, right? Threads has reached around 400 million monthly active users, and that was as of a couple quarters ago. I wouldn't be surprised if the number is much bigger now at this point in time. Keep in mind, Threads is basically untouched right now. What they're trying to do with Threads is I believe they're trying to take it to somewhere roughly around 1 billion users, and then they're going to worry about monetizing that platform. So you got to understand, Meta just in the past 2 years has launched a product here that has a potential to be worth $100 billion, if not several $100 billion. And they just launched it like that with a small team. It's insane. It's insane, right? And that's basically untouched right now. So that's not even a story really for 2026, 2027. But keep in mind, 2028 and beyond, Threads could likely end up going into monetization time period when we're going to start getting significant revenue growth, and then you start having a new level of revenue growth at that particular time coming from Threads, right? WhatsApp is still early in regards to monetization of WhatsApp, and WhatsApp has over 3 billion monthly active users, and we're early there for monetization. So just understand the money they're going to make from WhatsApp is going to be insane over the next several years, right? Then they obviously own the two most powerful social platforms out there, Facebook and Instagram. It's insane, right? And so it's just an amazing company. Like, it's one you kind of got to own, right? I wonder if that was a stock I bought today. We'll discuss that momentarily, okay? So that's Meta. That's what's going on there. The concern around spend. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's been a phenomenal stock for me. It's going to continue to be a phenomenal stock for me. Where Meta stock goes in the next 3 months, who knows? Could I see Meta going 500 something in the next 3 months? That's possible. Could I see Meta bouncing back strong, and next thing you know, it's a $750 or $800 stock in the next 3 months? That's possible as well. So whatever happens, happens in the short term. But the long term, I'm pretty darn confident Meta's going to be an amazing stock over the next 5 years, over the next 3 years, over the next 7 years. There's no doubts in my mind. Zero doubts. Okay. Next up here, margin. Then we'll get into the 8 stocks I bought here today. Okay. So this was posted by one of our members in the private stock group. We have 3,000 plus members in there. I took a look at it. I didn't like what I saw. Okay. I hadn't seen the numbers. Remember, I've been unplugged for a bit here. Okay. But the newest margin data came out. We're at new all-time highs in regards to how much investors are, have out there on margin, right? What this shows me is, to be quite honest, guys, we need a 6 to 18 month drop in the market, right? I don't know if we're going to get that anytime soon, but we need it. That's the only way you can really kill off margin in a major way. Now, you're never going to take margin to zero, but in terms of getting it down quite a bit and getting people to be like, whew, like, I'm not taking risks, you need to make, you don't, like, a 1 week drop, a 1 month drop, a lot of times it doesn't scare people that bad to really get them out of margin, right? You need a 6 to 18 month drop. That brings down margin considerably. Look no different than 2020, right? And that was about a 2 to 3 month drop we had in 2020, but margin came down significantly during that time. Look also, I think one of the best examples, look to 2022. 2022, we had the market drop for right around a year, roughly, right? And look what happened to margin during that drop. It came down significantly as the market dropped more and more month after month, right? Every time you thought the market might bounce back, it got hit even harder. That's how you really get margin down. So until we get a 6 to 18 month drop, unfortunately, that number is going to climb, which I don't like it, because that just means you got a more powerful sell-off coming at some point in time. When that sell-off is, could be 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now, 24 months from now, 36 months from now. It's going to come eventually, and it'll be a hard hit because margin's so high right now. But when exactly that happens, that's, one of the toughest predictions to make out there, right? And as they say, a broken clock is right twice a day. Now, to show you guys why you shouldn't mess with margin, because sometimes people think like, ooh, margin's exciting, like I can invest even more money, which means I'm going to make even more money. Okay, here's the issue, okay? Margin calls. You go ahead, you have $25,000 in your portfolio. You go ahead and margin out another $25,000, right? So now you have a $50,000 portfolio, and you're thinking like, my stocks are all going to 2x. So now I'm going to take this, up to a $100,000 portfolio, all with only $25,000 of my own money, right? Sounds amazing, right? Oh my gosh, like I got $25,000, my stocks are going to double, and since I'm on margin, I'm going to go ahead and take this up to $100,000, right? And then I'm going to pay back my $25,000 loan, and now I'm going to have $75,000. Sounds beautiful in theory, but here's the issue. You get a 30% drop, right? Which, that's nothing crazy, right? Like a 30% drop, it's powerful, it hurts, but it's not like that's unheard of or that never happens. That happens all the time, especially if you own individual stocks. The moves are insane. I mean, look at 2022. Meta stock fell 75%. Like Shopify fell over 80%. Netflix stock fell like 80%. So a 30% when you're in individual stocks is not a lot, actually. Like that's kind of what you would expect from a decent sized drop in the market, right? So you get 30% down, right? Now you're down 60% because you're margined out, right? Plus you're facing margin calls, so you're having to sell stocks at really bad prices. It's a horrible situation to be in. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's awful. Ask anybody that's ever gone through a margin call. Brutal. One of the most brutal things you could ever face in the stock market. Absolutely brutal, okay? And so you got to understand, if you get a 50% drop and you're on margin heavy, you lose your whole portfolio. From a 50% drop, if you're heavy on margin, you lose everything. You're back to zero. Robert De Niro. That's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. It's serious. It is serious, and not in a good way, right? What you actually need to focus on. Don't focus on margin and thinking about, trying to be greedy and like, oh, the market's going to pop big and this stock's going to 2x and 3x and I need a margin. No. Focus. Keep it simple, okay? Focus on making money, as much money as you possibly can, okay? That's where you need to focus. Focus on researching stocks, running projections, invest as much as you possibly can, and repeat that every year. And as the years tick on, you'll end up having more money than you know what to do with, okay? It's a simple game. You mess around with margin, right? Might sound fun if it all goes right, but it might not go right. And many times when people are loading up on margin, it's the time you shouldn't be loading up on margin, right? That goes wrong, and then you set yourself way further back. And next thing you know, it takes you 2, 3, 4 years just to climb back to where you used to be because you went heavy on margin. Okay? Don't mess around with that stuff. Focus on these things. Keep it simple. Over 10, 15, 20 years, dude, you'll have more money than you ever know what to do with. Like, come on. That's what you got to actually do. Focus on that stuff I have there, right? I'll give you a good example. I've been in the market now 17 plus years, right? Where am I at financially now at this point in time after all these years of investing, right? I saw these cool shoes on social media over the past week. Nike 001, they're like Nike Mind 001s and 002s. You can't even get them, they're sold out, right? So, you know what I did? I paid like 2 times, 3 times the price because I just want them. And you know what? It's irrelevant. The amount of money I spent on those shoes is literally irrelevant because I've been doing this for so long. I built up to such a high net worth that $260, it doesn't matter. It's literally insignificant, right? In regards to my net worth. This is yesterday, I went to lunch with the kids at Flower Child. It's not like, kids, we got to go eat at McDonald's, right? There was a time when it was fast food, right? And it was like, shoot, I gotta eat the cheapest thing at Taco Bell and cheapest thing at Burger King to try to save some money. There was a time period like that. You're 17 years in this game doing what I do. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like spend $60, $70 on the kids at lunch. Like it's nothing, right? Go out to Cheesecake Factory last night. After tip, it's $170. It's irrelevant. But that's 17 years in the market, right? Go on vacation, stay at the Nobu Hotel in Miami, go to Nobu twice. It's not like I'm looking at the menu like, should I get that because this is expensive or blah, blah, blah. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. But that's 17 years in the game, 17 years working my butt off, taking this serious, investing as much as possible, right? And then all these little expenses, which this is like all little stuff, like going out to eat, staying at hotels, like stuff like that. That's little money. It's irrelevant now, right? There was a time when this mattered significantly to me. That was 17 years ago. That was 15 years ago. That might even been 10 years ago. But as your net worth builds up and you do the stuff I'm talking about here, this other stuff, you're not worried about like, what hotel can I stay at? Let me find the cheapest one. Got the cockroaches in it. Like, where can I eat? Where's the cheapest place to eat? Who cares about quality? Like, no. When I just think, I'm just like, what's the best, right? What's good? Because that little money stuff's irrelevant. Now, think about 17 years from now. If I'm in good health and I stay hungry, right? If I get hit by a bus, okay, doesn't happen. That's fine. Like, it just is what it is, right? Life. But if I'm in good health and I stay hungry, imagine what lifestyle will be like in 17 years from now, right? Imagine vacations. We're talking private jets, because that would be irrelevant then, right? If I got a private jet now, I'm gonna be stressing. That's a lot of money for me right now. If I got my own yacht right now, that's stressful. 17 years from now, I could have multiple yachts. It won't even matter, right? I could have homes instead of staying at resorts like, I'm gonna stay at the Nobu Hotel or stay at a really nice place in Mexico. No. Could have homes in all these different vacation destinations, because it's like little money stuff. Like that then is little money, right? So focus on the stuff that actually matters, and stay away from the stuff that's gonna screw you over, like margin. That's like craziness, right? Like if you are younger in this game, right, which a lot of my audience is anywhere between 25 and 45, like you got plenty of time on your side. Just focus on this stuff right here. Don't get caught up in all that margin, all that other crap, man. And like I said, you'll have more money than you know what to do with, man. You'll have more than you know what to do with. So stay focused on the long term. Don't get caught up in all this short term crap, man. Okay, next up here, let's talk about 8 stocks I bought today, and that's a lot of stocks, okay? And we'll talk about the amounts and all that good stuff in just a moment. So first stock up here might surprise some people. I bought Meta today, and the reason it might surprise people is obviously I have so much invested in Meta already, right? Public count is what, $100 million position or whatever, right? I own in other portfolios as well, but Meta, I just can't look at Meta at these prices and be like, I'm not buying any. Could Meta go down to 515? Sure. Does it matter to me? No. Because I'm focused on where the stock goes over the next 3, 5, 7 years. And I believe Meta long term is a $2,000 stock. $2,000. So if Meta goes 515, 415 over the next 3, 6 months, I don't care. I'll buy more shares. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Okay? That's the first one I bought here. And, we spoke about that one already extensively. PayPal, number 2 of 8 here. PayPal is just a very attractive valuation on the stock. I mean, we're talking forward P on the stock somewhere in the 10 to 11 range. They've got nice revenue growth. Revenue growth has actually been accelerating recently. The earnings per share is very strong. They're buying back a ton of shares. Heck, it seems like they're going to buy back the whole company. The whole market cap's in the low $50 billion range right now. I like PayPal a lot. Alex Chris is doing a good job running the company. It's not the most exciting stock. It's not the 20% plus revenue growth story that like a Meta is, for instance, but it's just a very undervalued stock, and I got to buy it. Like, as simple as that, right? Elf on a shelf. This has been a high growth company over the years. Recently, the growth rates haven't been that great, but they're going to get back to very nice growth, in my opinion, here in 26. And then I think 27, you'll see, in the back half of 26, you'll likely see margins start to really move up. It's possible in the front half of the year too, but second half, I'm pretty dang confident. Like, margins will also move up considerably with great growth rates, and you'll see earnings per share accelerate significantly, right? So now what happens with tariffs, all that stuff, like that just is what it is. Like, they mitigate that stuff. They work with that stuff. It is what it is, okay? So elf on a shelf, love it. Next one up here, number 4 of 8, Celsius. Celsius Holdings, energy drink company. Alani deal's obviously been done for quite a while now. They got the distribution with Pepsi. Like, the company just does a phenomenal job, like absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. The earnings per share, you're going to see that skyrocket throughout 26 and 27. The revenue growth will moderate in 27, but 26 is going to be a huge revenue growth year for the company. And they have massive international expansion opportunity over the next 5 years. And they have, I think, a pretty significant opportunity to bring those margins up over the next 5 years as well. So Celsius, I really like that one. Number 5 of 8, ADBE, Adobe. Hated stock on Wall Street. No one wants to own this stock, right? Meanwhile, the business gets better. Look at the revenue growth of the company, right? Look at the earnings per share of the company. Look at the margins of the company. So I don't think people understand Adobe. No. I'm very confident people don't understand Adobe on Wall Street. And I believe over the next couple of years, they're going to understand it. All Adobe has to do is keep putting up the numbers. Keep putting up the numbers. And then I do think it would be helpful if the management team explained the business better and why it's almost impossible to compete with them. If they did that, I think the stock would reflect that very quickly. And so Adobe, I'm building that one out. My plan is to build this one as significantly as I can realistically here in the first quarter of the year, essentially, because I actually don't think the whole year will be bad for Adobe stock. I think the first quarter is rough, but after that, I'm actually very bullish on Adobe for the remainder of the year, and obviously bullish on Adobe for the next several years. So I just need to build out that position as quickly as possible. Number 6 of 8, Salesforce, CRM. Kind of Adobe situation, like the earnings per share is expected to skyrocket for the company. Solid revenue growth, like high single digits. Agent force continues to take off. They got the acquisition going through. Actually, I think my belief is revenue growth is actually going to go to low double digits here very shortly. Another stock like Adobe, just keep putting up your numbers, man, and it will all take care of itself in the end. Next one. This might surprise some people. AMD. I think I'm addicted to buying AMD stock. I mean, the next several years is just so exciting. I still don't think Wall Street totally got it in regards to AMD, and I think they're starting to get it. And so that one, I've got well over 7 figures across my portfolios invested in this stock. And so my plan with AMD is, if that one gets that $400, $500 level, I'll probably unload some level of shares. But if they report better numbers, like the bottom line is, I believe AMD is on its way to join the $1 trillion boys club. Okay, right now this is market caps in the $300 billion range. I believe they're on their way over the next few years to join the $1 trillion boys club. And so for me, I can't not buy the stock. I just like, I got to stop buying it though, right? I don't want to get too overexposed to the stock having 7 figures plus in it, but had to buy it. And then last stock I bought up here is American Express, number 8 of 8. Just an easy peasy lemon squeezy stock to buy. I understand everything going on with, is Trump going to limit credit card rates? I spoke about that recently in that whole deal in this video here. The market is setting up for a real move. I discussed that subject specifically. That's one of many subjects I discussed in this video here. So if you want more opinion on that, watch that video. I think I also featured American Express on 5 stocks to buy now, but I can't 100% remember that, okay? As far as the moves here, you can see them there, a lot of, pretty much almost all of them were multi-$1,000 moves in regards to the buys, a lot of $5,000, $6,000 buys, and I'm looking forward to buying stocks on Friday as well. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Stay focused on the long term, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to take your investing knowledge up to a much higher level and join the best group out there, that'll be pinned comment down there. Click on that, fill out a form. We'll see if we can get you access in there to the private group. And if you're a good fit, access to all my course curriculums, private Discord chat, 1000xstocks.com, exclusive weekly videos, see the moves I'm making, all that good stuff, pinned comment. Much love and have a great day.